All right, we want to welcome you to our September provider meeting here in Butler County. We appreciate all of you that are here. If you are not muted, we kindly ask that you mute. We will have time for questions during the meeting today, so you'll be able to unmute, and we also encourage you to use the chat box as you have questions or thoughts, things you want to ask, and we'll do our best to try and get to the chats today during our meeting. I want to introduce myself. I am Kathy Borders. I am in provider relations here with Butler County. We also have Amy Winkler here with us today in provider relations. She is going to be helping with the chat box, trying to respond to those the best that we can today. And sorry, I'm just trying to mute somebody there. We have a great agenda today. We have some visitors with us. Going to pull up our agenda now for you. All right, so first we're gonna have just some updates with our community connections team. Then we have Scott Rasmus, hope I said that correctly, Scott, here from the Butler County Mental Health Board to talk to us for a minute. Then I will give us some provider updates and training information. And then we have Kim Larson Phillips here from Step Up to Social Connections, and she will be giving us a presentation on that platform. From the Community Connections team, I know DSP Recognition Week was last week. I hope that all of you had a great DSP week. Just wanted to make sure that you know how much we appreciate all of you and your staff. Hope that you felt that appreciation from us. And if not, we really do appreciate all of you and all of the hard work that you do. It does not go unnoticed. So just wanted to tag that on with DSP week just happening last week. We do have one last event happening that we're tying to DSP week. It's our Community Recognition Award night, which is happening tomorrow, Thursday. Doors open at 5 o'clock. It's at the Butler County Fairgrounds. We invite any of you that are able to attend to please come. It's a great event. We'd love to see you there. One last event I wanted to mention when I have with all of you here is our Middletown Skateway Party. So our Community Connections team puts on a lot of great social events for our individuals. Lately, a lot of the events have been filling up very, very fast. So it's important to pay attention to those newsletters that come out from that team. And if there's something that your individuals that you're serving would like to attend, to RSVP or register right away. So the next event that still has openings is the Skateway Party that's happening on November 18th. If your individuals would be interested in attending that, they would reach out to their SSA to register for that. All right, well, we're gonna turn the time over now to Scott Rasmus with the Butler County Mental Health Board to give us a little update. If you are here, Scott, maybe we just you need to unmute maybe. All right, well, Scott, we might come back to him if he is here. We will maybe just pop a note in the chat and we'll come back to you so I don't miss you as we go. All right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna do provider updates now. I'm gonna share my screen again real quick. All right, a lot of great information for you today. Sorry, with Butler County, we are now launching our BritCo system. So if you're already in BritCo with other counties or you have your own provider BritCo account, this is totally different. Butler County has not had providers in our system yet. And so we are launching that. We're moving forward with that. We're excited about it. That will happen on October 1st. Agencies that are currently serving individuals in our county received 2 surveys now. Yesterday, it was just sent out again, where we are needing to collect your preferred admin information. That is important because that's what will allow you to have access to the system. This is for agencies only. There has to be an assigned admin. So we need you to complete that survey. If you've already completed it, no need to do it again. We just need that done once per agency. The local billing for contracted agencies will also be in Britco beginning on January 1. We're excited about that as well. You will be contacted by our billing department to begin that transition here in the next little while, but we just wanted to make you aware of that. It's very exciting. It'll make hopefully the process a lot simpler for those of you that applies to. That's just for contracted agencies for local funding. We will be sending out instructions for getting into the Britco system. We will try to make it as easy as possible. Of course, Amy and I will always be here to help you. We are planning perhaps a training. We're still working on some of that to help you be able to navigate that. It's a fairly simple system. So we're hoping it will be an easy transition for all of you. Once you are in the system, you set up your account, you have a password, you're logged in, you will be able to view all of your OISPs that you are currently serving individuals with. And you'll also have access for reporting. There's different report modules there, so that will be hopefully helpful. And then, like we mentioned, local billing will be for agencies that applies to. I don't know if we have any questions about that before I move on. That's kind of a big announcement. So I'll wait just a second, or feel free to put something in the chat.
Yeah, I'm driving, but I can't do the chat. Can I? So that's quite interesting. So Britco, this is only available for agencies, right? Is this correct? Okay, so
No, sorry.
it's not available for IPs. Is that right?
It will. You will be able to be in it. So Britco is what we use for all of our data keeping on individuals and all the information. We complete the OISP in there. We do a lot of everything we do is in there. So all providers who are currently serving individuals in our county will be given an invitation to access that. You'll have a login.
Okay, so this is also available for IPs. I just want to confirm that.
Yes, yes,
okay.
it will be. The reason for the survey for just agencies is because they have to have one assigned person. When you're an independent, you are going to be the one assigned person. So we don't need that information from you. We just need it from agencies. So all independent providers will automatically be put in as the admin. And this will be for providers that are currently serving individuals in our county.
Okay. Doke. All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for asking that, clarifying that. Any other questions before we move on?
Yeah, question.
Yes.
Yeah, if we do not get login as an agency, so I should contact the Butler County somebody, right?
Yeah. So you're saying you're not serving anyone yet in our county?
No, we do.
Okay. Okay. Did you hopefully check your email? We sent out emails to all the agencies that are currently serving individuals with a survey. If you did not receive it, sure, definitely reach out to us. You can reach out to Amy or I, or send an email to our general inbox, which is provider help desk at butlerdd.org.
Get it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I do have a question. Else? Yes, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Now I'm really new with this, so and I'm doing shared living with a family member. I want to know, will I be able to do the billing through them also? Will I still have to go back through?
Yeah, you will continue through EMBS with DODD. There is a billing portal in Britco, but it is only for a very small number of providers, and it's agencies only. And it's not even all agencies. It's just ones that have local funding contracts with us.
Okay.
So you will continue to bill the same way.
Okay. Thank you.
Now.
Now, I do have a question though. Now
Yeah.
does this mean that we can discontinue using EVV now that we would be utilizing Brickco?
You will continue to use EVV. Brickco is simply the county's data. And when I say data, I mean like the ISPs. So just information about the individuals, not about services. We are not tracking what you're doing day to day, just what
Gotcha.
you are authorized for.
Thank you.
Mhm. Anyone else? All right, well, watch for more information. We will try to give you as much information as we can. That will come out by email. So it is just so important to have your email up to date with DODD, because that is where the majority of communication comes through. If you think of any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat as well today. We wanted to make you aware that there is been an uptake in the amount of theft happening with EBT cards. There's a trend happening with that here in Ohio, particularly with Ohioans with developmental disabilities. So there is a new feature that has been launched that will make it better to protect the individual's EBT cards. There's a unlock and lock feature. There is a link here that explains how to do that, how to turn that on. We encourage you to look at that and use that. And then there's also additional fraud information from DODD with one of their well-informed releases. So just wanted to make you aware of that, to be on the alert for that and to perhaps use that new feature. Wanted to let all of our adult day and employment providers know that the 2024 outcome tracking reporting period is quickly approaching. That begins October 1st. Those providers, adult day and employment providers, are required to enter data in the system for individuals they were serving in September of 2024. You have 6 months to take care of that. The deadline for that will be March 31st, 2025. And there is a link there to get information, help if you're not sure how to complete that. You should receive communication by email with the data that they're needing from you, though. All right, those of you that do billing for yourself in EMBS, there has been another delay happening with that adjustment period that they have now delayed for several months. As you know, Medicaid is transitioning to a new financial system, which impacts DODD's claim processes as well. And so because of that, they're not able to process billing claim adjustments. And they had expected to be, I think it was 1st July, then they said September, and right now it's still delayed. We do not have a deadline, a finish date yet on that. So we apologize, appreciate your patience with that. So you are able to submit new claims as you have been. Those are being processed and paid, but any adjustments and reversals, they are still not able to be processed. So if you're entering any of those, they're just going to be rejected and you're going to have to resubmit them later. So we advise you just to hold off on that. There will be communication coming from DODD when they have the fully transition to the new system and you can submit those adjustments and reversals. Any questions about that before I move on? All right. Wanted to give you an update about the EVV caregiver exemption. I know we spent a lot of time talking about this last provider meeting. There were lots and lots of changes that happened to EVV on July 1st. But today I just wanted to briefly mention an update with the caregiver exemption requests. There is a new form. If you have not already submitted the caregiver exemption and that you qualify for that, and by that means you live with the individual you are providing services with, you are eligible for an exemption for EVV. There is a form. If you haven't filled it out, there is a new form that you can submit. If you've already submitted the old form, you do not have to do a new one. You will just wait for that approval. ODM Medicaid has advised us that they have received a lot of calls asking if the forms have been received, kind of looking for updates, and they're just advising you to watch your email, that any communication or the approval will come through email. It's taking a lot longer, I think, than they expected. So just some patience with that process. Hopefully you'll get those approvals soon. You are required to continue using EVV until you receive the exemption request approval. Any questions for me on this before I go on?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
I was trying to fill that form, and it requires that I get a utility bill that shows that you live with a person in the home to attach. So that made me, I wasn't able to fill it because I wouldn't get that for my staff.
So tell me what it requires to attach proof of address, right?
A utility bill that shows that you actually live in the house. Something that would testify that you live in the house.
Yes. So if you're saying you do not have proof of that.
The staff goes there to live there, work with the client, but it's not their permanent residence.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So then you may not be able to qualify for this exemption because you have to be considered a resident of the same household. So it is tied to residency.
So it means you have to be a family member.
Yes, or a shared living provider that is like permanent.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. All right, feel free to reach out to us if you have questions about this or have any questions as you're filling out the form. Wanted to let you know that here in Butler County, we have received a big set of caregiver cards. You may have heard of these in other counties. Other counties have been using these to assist providers in gaining access to community outings while they're providing services. And so we have ordered a set as well. So we have those available for providers to have to show when you're out in the community, when you're working with individuals. It does not guarantee free admission to any business or event, but we have heard in other counties it can help as identification resource that sometimes allows providers to receive benefits while you're working. So we have these cards. They can be attached to a lanyard or put in a purse or wallet. So we have those available. So if that is something that you would be interested in getting, we ask that you email us at providerhelpdesk@butlerdd.org with the number of cards that you need. So if you're an agency and have multiple staff, we will hopefully be able to accommodate having multiple for you available. We just ask that as staff leave that you retain those because we will not have an unlimited supply, but we do have quite a few to be able to distribute. Wanted to let you know about a research invitation that we have heard about. So the University of Cincinnati and the ARC have joined together with a grant to examine the challenges to seeking help among victims with disabilities. So the purpose of the study is to improve policies for victims with disabilities. So now they are looking for participants in their study. So it's voluntary. They're looking for help from the disability community and any of those of you who provide support. The research will take place in focus groups and individual interviews. If this is something that interests you and you'd like to participate, you can use this link here. And there's also additional information about what the study will require. Talking about training opportunities, there's quite a few trainings going on right now. So I encourage you to mark your calendars, register, try to attend to any of these that are topics that you would like to have additional help in. So in Butler County, we are providing now office hours for providers. They're in person at the Janet Clemens Center. We are holding a short training followed by a Q&A session. The purpose of this is to They are frequently asked topics that we get asked about a lot, so we're trying to address some of that. And then also give providers the opportunity to connect with one another by being in person, since we don't have a lot of those kind of events happening nowadays. You do not need to register. So we have 2 topics right now that we're billing. These are, or that we've built that we get a lot of questions about. So one series is the documentation and compliance series, and the other is billing. So they are each coming up, there's 3 dates for each. They're there on your screen, 10:30 to 12, again at the Janet Clemens Center. We'd love to have you. If you attend one of them, you do not need to attend again. So like the documentation and compliance training, it will be the exact same training on September 19th, October 17th, and November 21st. So if you attend one of those, you would not need to attend all 3. DODD's Office of Compliance has a couple of trainings coming up. The first one here, September 26th, is the MUI rule for providers. Then in October, they are going to have one on the Ohio ISP. You can register for the September one here, and then also by going to the DODD website and clicking over to the Office of Compliance page. DODD just announced this
I have a
week 2
question.
additional. Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry. Where's that one going to be located? Is that one also in your office?
These are virtual. Sorry, I apologize. Yeah, the DODD trainings are typically all virtual. So when you register, you'll receive the Zoom link for that.
Gotcha.
They also typically record them and post them on their website. So if you're not able to attend by going to the Office of Compliance page on DODD, you can go there and get the recording and or the PowerPoint that they show. It usually takes a couple of weeks after the training date, though, for that to be posted. Great question. All right, so DODD has also announced 2 additional webinars coming up that are pretty exciting. The first one is on prevention planning. So this is an online webinar, and it's to help providers learn how to develop prevention plans to enhance the safety and well-being of individuals served. So that's a lot of great information there. It's September 24th from 2 to 4, and you register online at that for that. We will be sending out this PowerPoint, so you'll have the link there, and then also in our meeting minutes, the link will also be there, so you can click to it. The other webinar that they are doing is on medication administration. So we really strongly advise you to attend this if you're able to. Should be a very helpful webinar. So it is going to teach the steps necessary for safe and accurate medication administration and what can go wrong. It will go into the investigation of medication errors and responsibilities related to UI and MUIs. So that will be held on October 17th from 1 to 3 online. Again, registering here to receive the link to attend. The SWOCOG is also doing a great training on October 31st from 9 to 12. The topic of their training is resilience, grit, and mental toughness. The training is called What's Your Bounce Back Factor? We have a flyer for this that we will attach to the meeting minutes, but it will look at how these qualities and how they can help you deal with challenges at work. And to register, you will use the link here. Should be a great training. OSU, so Ohio State, is offering now in-person clinical support services. We wanted to make you aware of this. These are in Columbus, but they are very valuable services that may be useful for you. So we wanted to make you aware of them. There's behavioral and mental health assessments, consultation, and training to support individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. They also offer, and this is really great, crisis prevention and support training for providers, DSPs, and family members. And again, those are typically in Columbus, but they do say that they may be able to arrange training at your location. I don't know exactly what that entails, but you could contact them to learn more. There is also a link here for trainings that they are offering already, like dates and location and things for that. Encourage you to check that out. That is all for my updates. I'll stop and see if there are any questions related to all that. It was a lot of information. All right. I don't know if we have Scott here yet. I wanted to give him another chance. Oh,
I just
yeah, go
have one
ahead.
question, Kathy. We will be provided with that, with your PowerPoint so we can click on the links. Is that accurate?
Yes, yep. It'll be in the PowerPoint and in the meeting minutes. They'll both come as PDFs. You'll be able to link over to them.
Thank you.
I tried to list some of the links in full on the screen, but some of them are so long that I just couldn't. So hopefully if you have any trouble accessing them, reach out to Amy and I, and we can get those to you. All right, so we have Scott with us, Scott Rasmus. All right, well, I do apologize about that. Oh, wait, we will move on. Well, sorry we missed him. We may hear from him at another meeting. We have Kim Larson Phillips, as I mentioned, she is here today with Step Up to Social Connection. So we will turn the time over to her for her presentation.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Kathy and Amy, for the invite. We're so happy to be able to share with you today a skill building curriculum for ADS. It's for adults with disabilities, but ADS providers, active treatment for ICF. So I really appreciate having the opportunity. Kathy, would you say we have at least 20 minutes for the rest of this? Okay.
Yep.
Great. So I brought with me the team. And so I'm just going to introduce myself and our team. And then if you would be so kind, Kathy, Molly Weissel is going to be presenting, like sharing. So if you could give her the share feature. So my name is Kim and I've been in the field for over 20 years and I've worked in agencies. I've worked as an independent provider. I am now. So I really appreciated your provider meeting, Kathy. I hope you'll send me the minutes too, because I found a lot of links in there that I really was like, oh, that training sounds great. So, anyway, I got involved with Step Up to Social Connection because I have known Deb and we serve some of the same people through our vacation program that she's going to share more about. But when I first saw this curriculum, it was in the beginning stages during the pandemic, and she will also share more about that. But I think all of you can relate to how hard it is to create content and to have lessons that are meaningful and that takes a lot of time and energy from your staff to prepare things like that. And this just takes all of that away. And this is exactly what I would have been looking for at the time when I was trying to put together content myself for a day program when I was working with an agency. So I'm so happy to get to share with you. I'm going to turn it over to Deb, our founder and executive director.
Hi, I'm Deb Schumard, and thank you, Kim, for that introduction. I appreciate it. I'm the director of a small family of companies, starting with Beyond Our Boundaries, based in Canton, Ohio. We've been in business for 24 years, taking adults with developmental disabilities on vacations. We also have CEUcertificates.com. We provide compliance-based training for DSPs, and we're here today to talk about Step Up to Social Connection, our web-based curriculum. So just a brief history of who we are. During the pandemic, we were looking for ways to keep our travelers connected with each other. And we put together a social connection series on Zoom where they could get together and study different cities, countries. They could study arts and culture, cooking, dance, all kinds of things, and just keep connected and talk about where they might want to go when they would be able to go out again. And having already provided services many years ago, we had a 5-year period of ADS and vocab services. We were familiar with the challenge that Kim spoke of, finding a way to fill that service day in a meaningful way and making sure that you're helping people reach their outcomes and have material that keeps them engaged, and also being able to meet compliance with that. So we took the material from the Social Connection series and started looking at it in a way that it might match the requirements of the ADS and vocab rules, and to some extent the ICF requirements as well. And so we build a curriculum that you'll see in just a moment, and it's web-based, hopefully saves time for DSPs, and is something that we hope you'll enjoy seeing. So I'd like to go next to my team member, Lisa Wilsbacher.
Hello, thank you, Deborah. I am Lisa. I've been with Deborah's companies for about 7 years now. I help organize the trips, and then for CEU and Step Up, I'm in more of a tech supports type of position, where I just make sure everybody is able to access the curriculum, everything goes well. You can log in, and basically if there's any issues any of our customers have, I try to troubleshoot those, make sure everything goes smoothly. And then for the forward-facing part of our curriculum, we have Molly.
Thank you, Lisa. It's nice to see everyone this morning. My name is Molly Weisel, and I'm one of the program coordinators with Step Up. I've been with this small business since the beginning, and I've helped create a lot of the content you're about to see. And then I'm also the one that onboards or trains your staff if they would decide to partner with us. And then I'm also the one that stays in contact with you during the license. Anytime we make updates to our website, we notify you so that you are aware of new lessons or new content, and can take advantage of that. So if it's okay, I will demonstrate our program right now. Thank you for giving me access to share my screen. So our URL is very simple, dayproviders.com. This is our homepage, and when you scroll along to the bottom, you'll see the different agencies and providers that are currently using our curriculum scrolling along the bottom. To sign in, it's very simple. You'll click the yellow sign in link in the top right-hand corner. And then, as Lisa mentioned, we get everybody's email addresses and a password inputted into the system. Every agency shares the same password, so we don't have to worry about password issues. And then you'll click that green login button. And that will take you to the 12 categories of lessons that we have. And these categories are like your big ideas. So we have lessons in health and wellness, social skills, cooking, hobbies, employment, traveling, volunteering, self-advocacy, life events, using technology, money management, and community membership. And when you click on a category, it takes you to the series of lessons that we have inside that category. Underneath each series is a brief description, so you can read and say, yeah, that sounds like a series I want to do, or maybe I want to wait to do that series at a later time. When you click on a series, it takes you to the lessons inside that series. And just like each series had a description, so does every lesson. So you can again read and decide if that is a lesson you want to do at this time or wait to do it later. Before I get into how our lessons are designed, though, we encourage everybody to use our pre-assessment before you do a series of lessons. So this will give you just a big picture overview of what individuals already know about a topic. So our pre-assessments usually have 4 questions that cover the big ideas in that series of lessons, and they're you'll notice that every question has 2 levels to it. So the first being geared towards those with basic literacy skills. And then we also have in this gray box an object-based option. So for those individuals with more complex needs, we have an option where you can grab a common household object like car keys and use that to gauge what an individual understands about a topic. Anything that does have answers, we do provide an answer key for, so that you can quickly score and see how that individual did and what lived experiences and knowledge they already bring to the table in that area. I'm going to hop over to our facilitator resources for a moment to show where you can keep track of this pre and post assessment data. So we have an assessment tracker. We have a PDF version that you could print off, and you could write in the individual's name, what series you're on, and what their pre-assessment score is, and then any prompts or accommodations you used. And then the idea is you would return to this after you do all the lessons and you give the post-assessment to see how did that individual grow. Did they start out at a 0, or 1 and end up at a 2 or 3? For those that prefer to have all of their data on their desktop or laptop, we have this digital version, and you would just download a copy for each individual and type in all the fields that I showed you earlier. So we're gonna now take a look at what a lesson looks like. So again, you have your 12 categories. When you click on a category, it takes you to the series of lessons inside that category. And then when you click on a series link, it will take you to the lessons inside that series. After you've done the pre-assessment and scored it, then you can dive into the lessons. And those are in these big gray and blue rectangular boxes. And you'll notice that every lesson opens up into the same section. So you'll have a prep followed by 3 steps that you do with individuals. And this was very intentional. We wanted individuals and staff especially to get used to the flow and format of a lesson, so that they knew they had to do a prep section followed by 3 steps with individuals. So now I'm going to walk you through what a lesson looks like and dive into each of those sections. So the prep is what a staff member will do behind the scenes to get ready for a lesson. And we recommend setting aside 15 minutes, but I think you'll find more times than not that 15 minutes can go a long way, and not just mapping out one day's worth of activities, but maybe multiple days or multiple weeks worth of activities. So the prep is essentially printing or looking off some PDFs and then looking over the 3 steps ahead of time. So for the facilitator, we have a sample learning target. And this is basically a big picture overview of what the goals of this lesson are, what activities you'll do, what this experience will look and feel like for the individual going through this lesson. Then we have a video discussion guide. So you may have seen when I was quickly scrolling through our lessons that in step 2, we have a video that we've created, and that's really the heart of our lesson. And we want individuals to be able to engage with those videos. So there are times where we'll say, pause the video and discuss, or pause the video and practice what you just saw modeled. And so this is a staff member's cheat sheet, so they can feel confident in those discussion and practice times during the video, because we know the reality is a DSP or staff member is probably going to be pulled in lots of directions when the video is being played. As I mentioned with our pre-assessment, anything that has answers, we do provide answer keys just to free up the mental energy and space of staff so they can focus on other more important matters. I'm going to come back to the picture and object-based activities for those with complex needs in a moment, because I think it will make more sense once I go over steps 1, 2, and 3. So thank you for your patience ahead of time. For each participant, we have a learning activity. So this is a 2-sided colorful PDF that helps individuals process what they have watched in that video, review some key information, maybe apply some thinking. And then we also provide connecting to the community ideas. So it's our hope that once you go through a lesson, that you'll take what you've learned in that lesson, and individuals will be able to use it out in the real world in a meaningful way. And so the purpose of this document is really twofold. So 1, it's a way to communicate with caregivers what individuals did with you that day, but it's also a way to help staff be more intentional when they are going out into the community to be practicing certain skills and using the knowledge that they just acquired in these lessons. I do just want to pause and say 2 important features. If you are somebody that has an interactive whiteboard. You could honestly get away without printing off many of these PDFs and just using that. I know some agencies do prefer to print off, and that's perfectly fine. Some agencies opt to use laminating, and so if they know they have multiple locations and they'll be passing a lesson around, they might print 10 of the learning activities off, laminate those, and pass them around with dry erase markers. So that it's flexible in how you use our PDFs in that sense. And then our curriculum is also flexible in the sense that it can be done with one individual. It can be done in a small group setting, and it can be done in a large group setting. I've seen it done in a group as large as 25 individuals. So just keep that in the back of your mind as you're watching these lessons. So after you have your PDFs ready to go, then it's doing the 3 steps with individuals. So step 1 is always words to know. When we piloted our program, we discovered that having a few key words and their definitions just set individuals up for success if they were familiar with those words before they watched the video. So we have our word in bold and the definition to the right, but this doesn't have to be a boring time where you write the word on the board and try to recite it and memorize it. And in our planning tools, we do have some words to know activity options. So if the words you look at lend themselves well to acting, play a game of charades. If the words lend themselves well to drawing, play Pictionary. And we've got several ideas that you're welcome to use as well to make this a fun and interactive time. So I'll go back to that lesson just for consistency's sake. After you do a words to know activity, then it's watching the video. And these videos work very easily. So usually the larger the screen, the more engagement. But again, you can just huddle around a laptop if you have 2 in a group, or watch it on your smartphone, any device that has internet. So you'll play it. You can adjust the volume. Our videos do come captioned. So if that's something you need, great. If it's distracting though, you can always turn it off. And then if you are somebody wanting to listen to this ahead of time before you're with the individuals you're serving, you can always listen or watch it at a faster speed. So if you're used to podcasts or audiobooks, you can speed it up. And if you have a 5-minute commute to work, you could have this video done and listen to before you pull into the parking lot. I do just want to say our videos often feature adults with disabilities. So we hope that is empowering to the individuals who watch these videos because they can see themselves in these situations and these experiences. After you watch the video, then it is time to do the learning activity and then hopefully get out into the community. But I want to show you that some of our lessons have some extra things. So for instance, our employment and volunteering lessons all have a digital learning activity. So if you have some individuals that are highly motivated to use technology, this might be a worthwhile activity for them. They can process what they watched in that video on a tablet or iPad or a Chromebook, and they can be thinking about like when they want to volunteer and who they want to meet when they're volunteering in this case. If it is a digital learning activity where there are right and wrong answers, they'll get that immediate feedback. So those that are answered correctly will come back green. Those that are missed will come back red. Sometimes there's a short video to watch and practice a skill, and then you can submit it and go over it. I want to mention that our cooking lessons all have a recipe. So in addition to a learning activity, we also have a recipe. So I'll show you our learning activity for our yogurt parfait and then what our recipes look like. So they're just matching up what food goes what in their parfait, and then they're thinking about their personal preferences for yogurt and raspberries and granola. And then our recipes are pretty standard. So they have your ingredients at the top and what supplies you need. And then we walk you through the steps with picture supports. Because it's our hope that after you do the work of everything in the cooking lesson that you'll take time to prepare what you just watched. Most of our cooking lessons feature my friend Erin, who is blind and uses a wheelchair, but she is just a phenomenal cook. I'm often behind the scenes, so I get to taste test everything. So I can speak from experience that it all turns out quite delicious. And Deborah's been very conscientious to make sure that we provide cooking recipes that are accessible. So we don't have any that use a stove or oven, but there might be a small appliance you plug in, like a blender for a smoothie or a slow cooker. This series is inspired by individuals who are like, hey, we want to be able to provide a meal for family and friends. But we're just afraid to use a stove or oven. How can we do that? And we know the magic of a slow cooker. You can dump the ingredients in, turn it on, and come back in a few hours, and you've got a tasty meal. And then I just want to mention that some of our lessons do have a bonus activity. So that may be a craft or a game. In our bird watching lesson, for instance, we have a bonus activity where you make your own bird feeder. So we try to give ideas where maybe one trip to the store, you can get all your supplies, it won't break the bank, and you've got a hands-on experience that you can do with individuals to keep the learning going and have some fun. So I did promise you that I would show you the picture and object-based activities for those with complex needs. So I'll take time to do that now. Every single lesson has this. So we recognize that some individuals need more support. So some need more visual support. In our step 1, when we were talking about keywords, we have images that can go with each of those words. So if you can't get your hands on actual binoculars, you can at least hold this up so they can see what you're talking about. This way too, staff, you're not having to spend time searching online for appropriate images, but you have them right here at your fingertips. And we know weather doesn't always cooperate in Ohio, so if you can't get out to show an accessible trail, you can at least hold up this image. Then during step 2, we have images that you can hold up during those discussion times or those practice times to see how individuals are understanding that video. So you can hold this up and ask, hey, does this guy look like he's bird watching? And hopefully they're able to say yes. And then they're able to notice that this young lady is bird watching as well, even though she's inside, because this is a versatile hobby. You can do it indoors or outdoors. And we always provide non-examples too. So if you have readers in your group, you would just cover up that non-example label, but then you could talk about, yeah, this guy's having a good time, but snowboarding, he's probably moving too fast to slow down and watch the birds. And I doubt he's able to hear the birds going down that mountain. And this guy too, he's having a great time, but with his eyes closed, he's probably not watching those birds. And with those headphones on, I doubt he's listening to them, and so on and so forth. And in step 3, we have images you can use to help enhance that learning activity after the video. But we know that for some individuals, your words, the pictures might not be enough. They need more of a sensory experience to be able to engage with the content. So we have some object-based ideas. So for this lesson, we have one where you can explore all the different bird food that exists. So seeds, nuts, berries, flowers, insects. I'll let you put the limit on what you bring. If you want to be brave and bring worms and fish, go for it. Or you can make a bird's nest or hummingbird nectar. We list those supplies up here. And honestly, everybody benefits from these hands-on experiences, but especially those with complex needs. So as I mentioned earlier, 15 minutes of prep can go a long way, because if you would do like all 3 of these activities, if you would spend a day using those images, if you would do that bonus activity, that's another day. I'll show you our connecting to community ideas for this lesson. I'm guessing you might want to do both of them. So the first being setting up a shared community space where you take care of the birds. So you take turns providing fresh water and bird seed, maybe making a nice sitting area, or you decide to partner with your local park system to enjoy a bird watching tour or learn how you can bird watch around your area. And so I'm going to briefly show you our facilitator resources, but I do just want to mention, I show you how to get to our lessons from the category page, but we also have a lesson list page that some prefer to access lessons from. So whenever we add lessons, I do email the contact person for each agency so they can notify staff. But we have it up on the top of this page as well. And then we include what lessons we have in an outline version. So if you're wondering, like, what are the lessons in our hobbies series. You can look here and see, and you can get to lessons from this page too. So if you're scrolling and you're like, gee, we're getting to cold and flu season, we better review good hand washing and nail care hygiene before people start to get sick, you can click that link and jump to the lesson list page from there. So our facilitator resources are here for you, the staff, to help you be successful with these lessons. We have helpful tips. So if you're somebody thinking, oh, this sounds a little intimidating or scary, I would just encourage you to come here. And I bet if you read through this list, you would feel encouraged and know that you're already doing many of these things and will be successful. We have tips for managing group dynamics, because we know whenever you get a group together in a more educational or academic setting, things can arise you weren't anticipating. Perhaps Colin gets extra quiet, or you're not sure how to channel Jacob's high energy level, or LaPria shuts down and you want to help her get back on track. We have ideas of how you can practically do that to help everybody be successful with that lesson. We also have some planning tools. So I showed you the words to know activity options. We have ways to introduce a series and get everybody excited about what they're going to learn. So there are ideas you're welcome to use, or feel free to use your own. We have ideas to review a series, because we know repetition is really important with this population, and it's important to have fun too. And then we have a lesson planning checklist and time tracker. So if you are rolling out these lessons, this is a great way to figure out what is a realistic pace of lessons to do in a week. Is it realistic to do a lesson every day with the group I'm serving? Is it realistic to maybe do a lesson over the course of a week and spread out the steps and activities? So this is just a helpful tool for that. And then we have social connection scenarios. So we have 11 currently. These are brief 2 to 3 minute visual audiobooks that individuals can watch. Many are related to anxiety, and we have a few related to greeting people. And then we have a corresponding PDF underneath, because we know that greeting your mom looks different than how you greet a stranger on the bus, or how you greet your doctor or your best friend. So we help individuals walk through those subtle nuances in each situation, so it's explicit for them. And then they can read these stories as many times as they need to build confidence or internalize these things to help them be successful. Then we also have an onboarding webinar. So I do provide an onboarding that is usually an hour long, but if anybody would ever need a refresher, or staff is unable to attend the onboardings that we do, they could always come here and watch this webinar to know how to use our website. And then we do provide a notes and outline that go with that our staff can access and use to be confident using our website. We also provide tutorial videos. So if somebody just needs help with technical help, like how do I print a PDF or how do I play a video, they can click here and then watch a short video that's just on that. If you are somebody who serves those with complex needs, we have many videos that are dedicated to help staff feel confident figuring out the right level of prompting, or how to help an individual participate and feel like you're not doing everything, or how to help an individual be able to do a skill that maybe they can just do with you in a certain place with other people or in other places. We have ways to increase screen-based engagement, tools to help you figure out if somebody is someone who needs objects to communicate. And these were all designed with our complex needs specialist, Dr. Patricia McDade. She currently lives in Maine. She's lived all over the country, but she has over 35 years of experience working with those with complex needs and low incidence disabilities. And I'll just show you a few more things, and then I can turn it over to Deborah. So we have calendar options. So if you're wondering, how do I map out a series of lessons? We have some tracks that you can run on and look at. So we have a 3 and 6 month ADS calendar that we've created. We have a sample 3 and 6 month vocab. We also have a drop-down menu one where you can click what series you want, and then you can click the lessons that are inside that series.
Mhm.
And then we also have documentation tools. So I showed you earlier our assessment tracker to keep track of those pre and post assessments, know where an individual started and where they ended up after the lessons. But we also have a lesson documentation chart. So if you just want to take a few minutes and jot down the lesson, the date, who participated, how they responded, what goals and targets were met, what you still need to work on, you have that here. And then we have a narrative version. So some people prefer to write a story where they can fill in the blanks, circle how an individual did, jot down what went well, what they still need to work on, maybe their plan for going out into the community. And if you do this in a minute, you have a really good snapshot of how that lesson went. And lastly, we have certificates of completion because it's our hope that after you do the hard work, you as a staff member, and then also the individual of a pre-assessment, and then all the lessons, and then the post-assessment, that you'll take time to celebrate that achievement. So we have these for every series of lessons. So you can add your logo to this. You can make this a big deal, have cake and donuts. I know a lot of agencies post it on their wall and keep track of what series they have completed. So I will turn it over now.
Thank you, Molly. Thanks so much for all your thorough explanation of everything. And as you can see, as I'm saying to your agencies, we engage with our clients. It's not a passive type of subscription where you have to figure out how to use it yourself. Molly and her team teach you how to use all of the tools that would be most important to you. We're one of the programs that were accepted as a curriculum in the ADS pilot program with DODD. So we've been working with a lot of agencies who are in that pilot. And we're also very willing to offer a temporary login to your team if there's someone on your team that needs to see more. Are there any questions, or do we have a minute or two to take some questions, Kathy?
Yeah, of course.
And just to let everyone know, we do have in the chat links to a Google form to give us a little more information about your agency, links to our Calendly if you'd like a one-on-one meeting with us. And then also, if either of those ways, we'll offer that temporary login.
Thanks so much for your time. We really appreciate it and for the opportunity.
Well, I will include your contact information in our meeting minutes, so that way if there are questions or follow-up, they can reach out to you that way. We also have a lot of providers who will watch this later, so they may be reaching out once they have an opportunity to watch this meeting recording. Well, we appreciate you being here. There's no questions for you right now, I guess. We really appreciate you all being here. It was a really great presentation. It's a very great product. It's helpful to see it all very detailed, so appreciate that. We appreciate all of you providers for being here today. Are there any other general questions related to any of our updates or any information we shared earlier, or just in general questions before we close out our meeting for the day?
Kathy, I have a question.
Yeah.
My question is, how often do you receive, I'm a shared living, so how often do you get a compliance review? Is that at random, or how does that work? I'm going to do the, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm going to be, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jackie, I'll wait for you.
Well, I was just wondering, I am going to participate in one of the compliance review courses, but I've got one coming up, so I'm interested to know, how often do they, come out to see you? Is it at random, or if you're new, or how does that work?
Yeah, great question. And those Butler County provider office hours are a great way to prepare for a compliance review. So that's great that you are wanting to come to that. So there are two types of reviews, right? There are regular compliance reviews and there are special reviews. So regular compliance reviews, DODD says that they will do a review of every provider once during their certification span. So your certification span is 3 years. So it will occur at some point during that 3-year certification span. New providers who begin billing for the first time are most likely going to have a review within their first year of billing. That is in rule. During COVID, things got kind of backed up and that wasn't happening for a little while, but that is does appear to be happening again. So new providers can expect to have one fairly early on in their service. But I would not want to count on it being exactly every 3 years. So if you have one now, you know, it could be in a year, it could be in 2 years. It is supposed to be random. They give themselves some flexibility, I think, in providing that. There are also special reviews that can be requested by DODD if there are concerns or something they want to look into. Those can happen at any time as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, everyone, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate all of you and all the great things that you do. Feel free as always to reach out to Amy and I if you have any questions or need support. We're here for you. Have a great rest of your day.
Okay.